Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking an absolutely incredible survival story. We're looking at a civilization that somehow, against all odds, managed to bloom in one of Earth's most punishing extreme environments. So let's dive right in. I want you to imagine trying to build a massive empire in a place where rain almost never falls, and the summer heat literally bakes the earth. We're talking about the barren, eroded red sandstones of the Flaming Mountains. Honestly, it feels like the absolute last place on Earth you'd expect to find a human settlement, let alone a thriving cultural hub.
But here's the wild part. You step right into the middle of that very same scorching desert, and you find a vibrant, deeply shaded sanctuary. It's a staggering contrast. You go straight from this scorched, cracked red rock to an absolute explosion of lush green vines that are just heavily laden with fruit. It's like a mirage, but it's real.
To understand this impossible survival story, we'll quickly walk through four main areas. First, the extreme desert basin itself. Second, the underground lifeline that saved them. Third, the resulting city of grapes. And finally, the empires they carved right out of the earth. Section 1. The extreme desert basin. Let's start with the problem at hand and look at exactly how punishing this environment truly is. The Flaming Mountains, which you might actually know from the classic 16th century Chinese legend Journey to the West, absolutely live up to their name. Summer air temperatures routinely hit a blistering 50 degrees Celsius, and the surface temperatures, they soar even higher. We're talking literally hot enough to melt the rubber right off the bottom of your shoes. This intense heat gives the red sandstone the illusion of actually being on fire. Then, dropping down from those fiery peaks, the Turpan Basin plummets to 158 meters below sea level. That actually makes it the lowest point in all of Central Asia. So it's essentially this giant arid bowl that just traps all that intense heat. And rainfall? Well, it's practically non-existent. They get just 16 millimeters of rain for the entire year. To put that in perspective, a small puddle holds more water. Which brings us to Section 2, the underground lifeline, the Karez wells. The crucial question is, how on earth do you get water in a place like this without it instantly evaporating under that harsh sun? Well, the solution is an absolute engineering marvel known as the Karez wells. You can think of it as a massive subterranean highway for water. It links the distant, snowy Tian Shan Mountains directly to the parched basin. This ancient tech, dating back 2,000 years, became the beating heart of Turpan. And honestly, it offers a total masterclass in sustainable, zero-carbon water management, even for us today. The real genius here is in the simplicity. There isn't a single modern pump involved. Gravity just naturally pulls the cold snowmelt from the high mountains, routing it through deep, shaded tunnels straight to the fields. Because this water flows up to 10 meters underground, it is completely shielded from that intense desert sun above. Moving on to Section 3, the City of Grapes. Thanks to that hidden underground lifeline, Turpan experiences a sudden, incredible agricultural explosion. That Karez water miraculously transformed Turpan into a vital Silk Road crossroads. The sheer abundance of water in the middle of a desert turned it into the grape capital of China. It produces hundreds of varieties of grapes alongside these incredibly sweet Hami melons and watermelons. This wasn't just a quick pit stop for travelers. It became a lush green refuge and a true agricultural powerhouse for the local Uyghur people. But here's a puzzle for you. How do you preserve tons of fresh fruit in sweltering heat for long-distance trade? Well, the locals invented these fascinating earthen drying rooms known as shaifeng. They built them with perforated adobe bricks. All those little holes allow the hot, dry desert winds to circulate freely inside. They essentially weaponized the exact same heat that threatened them, using it to turn fresh grapes into world-class raisins, producing hundreds of tons every single year. Talk about a game changer. This kind of human adaptation shaped the entire culture down to its roots. The architecture and the whole lifestyle evolved right alongside the environment. Picture this: families dining on warm naan bread and fresh berries in courtyards that are heavily shaded by mulberry and walnut trees, all surrounded by vibrant traditional Uyghur dancing and music. And amazingly, the flat earthen rooftops actually double as bedrooms. It's the ultimate ancient air conditioning, sleeping up high to catch the cool night breeze after a blistering day. And finally, Section 4, Empires Carved from Earth. Let's see how this incredible water security built an architectural legacy that truly stood the test of time. There's an old Indian proverb that says, "Intelligence is where two rivers meet." That perfectly captures the strategic brilliance of Zhaohe, which was Turpan's ancient, leaf-shaped island fortress. It was situated right at a river fork, utilizing the natural terrain for both defense and life-sustaining water. The craziest part about Jiaohe is that the city seems to just blend seamlessly into the ground itself, because instead of stacking bricks to build walls up from the earth, the people of Jiaohe ingeniously carved their homes, their government offices, and their temples directly down into a massive plateau. By using the earth as a natural fortress, this sprawling complex stretches across 17 football fields in length. Even today, it remains the world's largest, oldest, and best-preserved earthen city. For over 2 millennia, this water-fueled oasis supported massive, thriving civilizations. As a vital Silk Road stop, it became a spectacular cultural melting pot. Alongside Zhaohe, sister cities like the ancient ruins of Gaochang thrived right here. Touched by Han, Tibetan, and Uyghur influences, you can find 5th-century Buddhist stupas standing right next to the towering geometric brick patterns of the Islamic Amen minaret. It's quite literally a visual timeline of human trade and faith. It really leaves us with this final spectacular thought. Considering the sheer resilience it took to turn a scorching, below-sea-level desert basin into a thriving empire, utilizing only gravity and the earth itself, what limits can human ingenuity truly not overcome? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer of Turpan's incredible history. Keep learning and keep exploring.